Hey guys, Rominating Reaper here. So it's Saturday, I'm outside the cinema, and I suspect foul play. Yeah, I'm about to head in to see Wake Up Dead Man, the new Knives Out film. Been really looking forward to this. Love the first two, they're just great fun whodunits. So I'm obviously looking forward to seeing more of Benoit Blanc, and they're just great crowd experiences in general, so thank God Netflix actually gave this a cinema release. To find out if it actually is as good as the first two, I'm gonna head in, get some snacks, and get seated for Wake Up Dead Man. So I've got my popcorn here and a Sprite, ready for Benoit Blanc's newest mystery. So, Wake Up Dead Man. I am back from seeing it. This is written and directed by Ryan Johnson, and is a rare film that Netflix has actually given a cinema release. And don't get me wrong, the convenience of watching films on Netflix from the comfort of your own home is great and all, but there really is nothing that beats the big screen, especially since this franchise plays really well with an audience. And obviously, when I saw that this got showtimes near me, I just had to take advantage, because I love this franchise, and I will happily be seated for whatever new case Benoit Blanc is investigating. But is this another winning case for Benoit Blanc? Well, let's find out. So the film follows Reverend Judd Duplantis, a young priest assigned to a parish in upstate New York known as Our Lady of Perpetual Fortitude, led by Monsignor Jefferson Wicks. One day, during a Good Friday service, a seemingly impossible murder takes place that shakes the church right to its very core, with Judd named as the prime suspect. Enter Benoit Blanc, who arrives at the church to get to the bottom of what really happened in a case that really tests his abilities as a detective. So, much like with the first two films, I tried going into this as blind as possible. Obviously, I knew the church theme and the cast going in, but I went in ready to be surprised by what was in store this time around. And obviously, I knew going in to keep my expectations high, because, this franchise has delivered great, compelling mysteries over its past couple entries. And yeah, sure enough, this one is another winner. Absolutely brilliant film. So, much like with Glass Onion, this one takes its time in its setup. Obviously, it takes its time setting up the core group of suspects and the central character arc for Father Judd. And so, admittedly, it does take a bit to actually get going, but a lot of these setups are very important, because, all of it is paid off in some way by the end, so it is important, and it means that when the mystery actually does reveal itself, yeah, it is incredibly compelling. And now, obviously, these films, I think, shine in their own way anyway. I think Knives Out has the best ensemble of the bunch. It's the most memorable and rewatchable. Glass Onion, I think, shines in its comedic, satirical side. And this one, I think, has the best mystery of the three, because it is incredibly ambitious and complex, a little bit darker than the previous two, but also maintains that comic streak that runs through them, because there are some very funny moments here. But it's also rooted in a very interesting look at how figures of power and authority used that to spread messages of anger and fear and false promises to keep their closest followers hooked on what they have to say. And obviously, in the middle of all that, we have Benoit Blanc out searching for the truth, and of course, Daniel Craig once again is great as this charming, charismatic gentleman sleuth. But really, this is Josh O'Connor's show because goddamn, he is fantastic here. He, is just an incredibly magnetic presence in every single scene as this young priest desperately trying to atone for the sins of his past. He absolutely crushes it here. And to be fair, the ensemble around the pair of them is great too. Obviously, we have Josh Brolin as Monsignor Wicks, who is this incredibly charismatic figure, but also uses that to deliver these services of quite explosive anger, a style that clashes with Judd in a very interesting character dynamic. We also have Glenn Close as Martha, a devout woman of the church of many years. We also have Kerry Washington as Vera Draven, a lawyer, and Daryl McCormack as her son, Cy, a failed right-wing politician. And the two of them have a interesting personal history with the church. Also have the likes of Kaylee Spinney as Simone, a young woman led on by the promise of healing. Andrew Scott, always great, as Lee, a washed-up author clinging to relevance by writing a book about the church. We also have Jeremy Renner as Dr. Nat Sharp, who, desperately is trying to win back his ex-wife. If only we had an app where we could discuss this character and his motivations. Rounding things out, we also have Mila Kunis as Geraldine, the local sheriff investigating the case with Blanc. And, all of them do a great job with their characters. They're all very, very talented set of performers. There's even a few faces in there that I did not expect. I won't reveal who, but if you know, you know. They all do a great job, which I think keeps this, the stakes and, darker tone of this mystery, incredibly compelling throughout. And it is also, to its credit, incredibly well shot too. It particularly makes great use of light reflecting through the stained glass windows of the church, and there's even some great nighttime shots in the rain. It is a feast for the eyes, and I think it very much does serve to enhance the darker vibes of the central mystery. But of course, it all builds to an absolute corker of a climax where, of course, the truth comes out. And unlike the first two films where there's, a certain, I guess, level of predictability in the reveal of the killer here, this time around, I genuinely did not expect the direction this one went in, with some actually quite surprising reveals and, delivered in incredibly clever and just, really, edge of your seat, gripping fashion. But it also does a great job of rounding off, the very interesting character arcs at play here, particularly for Father Judd. It is, goddamn man, it is an absolute ride and does a really great job paying off things, seemingly inconsequential things set up in the beginning. Yeah. All I'm saying is, if we get any more of these, I will happily be seated. Just please, please give them a cinema release. Overall, Wake Up Dead Man offers up the franchise's most compelling and ambitious mystery to date, carried along with interesting themes and great performances from Daniel Craig as Benoit Blanc and a scene-stealing Josh O'Connor. It is an absolute treat to watch on the big screen. Out of 10, Wake Up Dead Man gets a 9. So, let me know down in the comments, have you seen Wake Up Dead Man, what did you think of it? Which of the three Knives Out films is your favourite? And what did you think of Josh O'Connor's performance? And would you like to see Benoit Blanc investigate more cases in future films? Let me know all that down in the comments. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're new, and don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss an upload.